Welcome to Take Two with Freddy. Real talk about second chances, real life, and the power of rewriting your story. I'm Freddy Freundlich, entrepreneur, mentor, and storyteller. And here's the deal. If I didn't walk it, I don't talk it. Each week, we'll spend about 20 minutes laughing, reflecting, and hopefully walking away a little more inspired than when we came in. So, what's on my mind today? Insider trading. Yep, I know that's a loaded term. For most of us, insider trading refers to something illegal, using information you gain as a fiduciary, usually inside a company, to buy or sell stock before the public knows about it. And here's just a little disclaimer. If you think you might be involved in something like that, take my advice, speak to a good lawyer before you go any further. But that's not what this episode is about. What I want to talk to you guys about today is the legal kind of insider trading. And I mean that both literally and metaphorically. It's about taking advantage of your own private information that you have earned, information that lives inside of you, the kind of information that most people don't know or even think about. I'm talking to you guys, you folks who tune into this podcast because you're really looking for and believing in second chances. You're the folks who've lived a little. You've been knocked down a number of times. You've had your wins and you've had your losses. You've gathered all sorts of data from your own life, maybe even more than you can realize. And that makes you incredibly rich in something most people overlook: internal value. You are walking around with decades of real world data stored on your internal hard drive. You're downloaded with all sorts of stuff. You've downloaded pain, success, embarrassment, bold moves, missed chances. And if you're like most people, you're not using most of it. Think of it this way. Have you ever heard someone say, I almost bought Apple when it was $10 a share? Or I could have bought McDonald's when it was a penny stock? Or I had the idea for Uber before Uber was even a thing? The truth is, we all have in one way or the other. And when we say that, the natural response from others is, so why didn't you? Why did you do that? And we all have the answer. We all have the excuses. The timing wasn't right. I didn't have the ready cash. I was scared. I didn't think it would work. Or even worse, sometimes someone else who we know did do it, and now they're a millionaire or even a billionaire. And here I am telling the story about the time I almost did it. Let's take a moment and think about some really ridiculous ideas that made people rich. The pet rock, the slinky, the yo-yo. In fact, the slinky, you know how the slinky came to be? A sailor during World War II was messing around with some springy wire on a naval vessel, and just like that, a toy was born. One that became a bestseller for years, not just for kids, but adults too. Or how about McDonald's? Did you know the McDonald's brothers, the actual founders, barely made a dime? It was Ray Kroc who came in and saw something they didn't. And it wasn't even about the hamburgers. No one claims McDonald's makes the best burger in the world. Ray Kroc made his money in real estate. He saw that if he bought the land and leased it to the franchisees, he'd create a revenue stream no one could touch. He didn't just sell fast food, he sold location, consistency, and a system. He mined his internal PC and struck gold. Now, guys, most of us will fall into one of two categories. The first is people who didn't believe that particular idea would work. And the second are people who did believe in it, but weren't willing to part with the money or didn't try hard enough to find it. And this is where the metaphor deepens. Because when it comes down to it, we all make decisions about what something is worth to us. Let's take an extreme example. Let's say you or someone you love is on their deathbed. A doctor tells you there's a new surgery that just might save them. But the rub is it costs $10 million, and know before you ask, insurance of any sort will not pay for it. So most people will fall then into three categories. The first would be the ultra wealthy, for whom the $10 million is a non-issue. The second would be the utterly hopeless, those who believe it's so out of reach, they don't even try. They make no effort at all. And the rest of us, those of us who are somewhere in the middle, who would in fact try and move heaven and earth to find that money. Why? Because the value of what we're getting feels worth the cost. Now, let's bring this back to everyday life. Someone will go to the store and will complain that milk is going up or has gone up 20%. It ruins their whole day. They're mad at the store, at the government, at life. It just sort of consumes them. Yet, that same person will go to a convenience store just 10 minutes away and pay double happily. And their self-rationalization will be, well, I'm paying for convenience. So if that's true, let's be honest about it. It's really not about the money. It's about how we perceive the value. None of us want to feel ripped off, and we don't want to feel stupid. But we will spend more money when we can emotionally justify it. And that, right there, is insider trading. You guys are sitting on data. I'm talking real data, life data, business data, relationship data, spiritual data. It goes on. Now, you've been collecting this for decades. You've paid a price for it. It didn't come free. You've experienced joy and heartbreak and success and betrayal, probably many missed chances, and you also got a few lucky breaks. And all of this data or data, however you want to pronounce it, is inside of you, in your internal PC, but you're not mining it. Now, Google, Facebook, Amazon, all these guys, they collect data just like this for a living. That's their gold, their oil, their diamonds. They sift through billions of clicks, likes, and scrolls to find the patterns. And you've lived all this data. The only difference is, and wow, it's a big difference, is they know how to mine it. You have information that most people overlook because they haven't lived what you've lived. Or they have, but they're too busy numbing out or staying stuck in their story to realize the value. Folks, you've got insight, intuition, hindsight, pattern recognition. This is all gold, and this is all legal insider trading. And I'm asking you right now, today, what are you going to look about? What are you going to do with this? Take a look right now inside your personal PC. Again, not your phone, not your hard drive. I'm talking about your mind, your soul. What have you already lived that could be turned into wisdom, content, a product, a path forward for someone else? Where can you apply your life's lessons to your present decisions? What stock from your past experience are you sitting on right now that could blow up in a positive way if you just acted upon it? Let me give you guys a very simple but real example from my own life. This podcast, Take Two with Freddy, it didn't just come out of nowhere. It's not a branding strategy. It came from years of conversations, coaching sessions, failures, moments where I had nothing to give and still showed up. I started noticing the second chances I was talking about with clients, and many of these were the same ones that I was myself living. I started seeing patterns that kept surfacing. And then one day, yes, I've shared with you, with the help of my wife, the same voice inside me started whispering to me, Freddie, share it. Share all this gold that you've accumulated. In other words, this was my insider information. This was my lived data. It was nobody else's. It's proprietary, and it belonged to me. And I could have kept it inside, but I've decided to share it with you guys. The more I paid attention to this whole idea about it and didn't ignore it or didn't overthink it, the more this show started to take shape. And in fact, I'm very proud that today marks our 10th episode. So when I say you already have the data, the intel, I really mean it. If you're willing to start mining this data. In fact, this week I challenge you, mine your data. Do your own legal insider trading. Use what you know, what you've earned. Because in this case, if you didn't walk it, you can't talk it. But if you did walk it, it might just be time to trade on it. At any rate, guys, this wraps up another episode. In fact, the 10th episode, as I mentioned, of Take Two with Freddy. I want to thank you all for spending this time with me. I want to ask you once again, if you got something out of it, please share it with a friend. There are other people who may just need something that we've discussed today and might make a big difference in their life. And please like, share, subscribe. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great week.